Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano, and today is the first Friday in October, so I've got another First Friday flight coming at you. You already know what it is because of the thumbnail, but let's go ahead and jump into this and show you kind of what we're doing today. So in glass number one, bottle number one, or bottle number one, glass number one, we're going to be looking at the Crimson Cask. Crimson Cask is the new addition to Compass Box with, what is his name, James Saxton. John Glasser left and James Saxton took over, and this is one of the first releases. Compass Box is very transparent with what they're using. It's too much information to put up on the screen, so I'm just going to link to Compass Box in the description below, but that's going to be in glass number one. This is a blended malt, and I paid $79.99. And I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, if you don't know. So glass number two is also going to be a newer release. And this one is the Nectarosity. So Nectarosity is also from James Saxton. And this is coming in at $67.94. It is a blended Scotch whiskey coming in at 46% ABV. And the Crimson Cask also is 46% ABV. All Compass Box are natural color and non-chill filtered. So these are the two new expressions, and we're going to take a look at four older expressions. So in glass number three, we're going to be taking a look at the Spaniard. So the Spaniard is a 43% offering, and this is from John Glasser, and this is a blended malt Scotch whiskey, $79.99. Glass number four, and I think I'm gonna have to put a little room here because I've got 6 glasses today. This one's the older one. This is the original Compass Box that I have. This one is Orchard House. So Orchard House is also a blended malt Scotch whiskey coming in at 46% ABV. And I don't know if it's this price anymore, but I did pay $47.49 when I purchased this originally. Glass number 5 is going to take us to the Spice Tree. So Spice Tree is also going to be a blended malt Scotch whiskey coming in at 46% ABV, $74.99. And then the last one, glass number, reach over here, glass number 6 is going to be the Hedonism. Hedonism is the blended grain Scotch whiskey. I think all the others were blended malt or blended Scotch. This one is actually the blended grain, and coming in at $149.99. Now I do need to tell you, this one has a lot of Cameron Bridge distillate in it, or Scotch in it, and one of my favorite bottles that I have in my collection is the Cameron Bridge 26-year-old. That was the Diageo special release from 2022. Fantastic bottle, way expensive, but it is one of my favorite bottles. And I think it has something to do with the actual grain that's in it. I don't know if Cameron Bridge does wheat as far as their grain goes, but for some reason I want to say that they do. If you know any different, let me know in the comments down below. So those are the 6 bottles that we are taking a look at. Let me go ahead and clear this out of the way, mix things up, and I need to talk to you a little bit about some things. So give me 1 second. All right, so as I am mixing these things up, just to let you know, there is an online whiskey community called the OSWAs, the Online Scotch Whiskey Awards. There's going to be a link in the description below. If you are interested in participating in the voting for the Online Scotch Whiskey Awards, do me a favor and go ahead and click on that link. I think it's the OSWAs.uk website, and there's going to be a link that's going to take you to the Online Scotch Whiskey Award voting page. They do a whole bunch of different categories, so if you are interested in participating, like I just mentioned, just go to that link, take a look at it. If you want to vote, vote. If you want to vote on some categories and not all of them, feel free to do that. This is just going to be a, what do they call it, a democratic way of choosing a whiskey award without getting, overhyped or having people pay for their entries. This is all democratic. If you're not familiar with it, I highly encourage you to take a look at it because it's very, very interesting. And I think the whiskey community is definitely going to be looking forward to everybody's participation in that. So last thing before I get this thing going, I do have an October giveaway happening. So if you're interested in the details of that giveaway, just go ahead and take a look at the details in the description for all of the rules. I've got my paper here. I've got my pencil. And if you are not familiar with how this works, I'm going to nose and taste these from right to left and left to right. I'm going to get a little bit of rinse of water in between each one, give you some notes, and then at the very end, I'm going to put them in some sort of order from what I like the least to what I like the most. All right, that's a 5-minute introduction. Let's get on to the actual smelling and tasting. All right, I get a little bit of banana coming out of this glass. Very fruity, very crisp. Smells like a bowl full of fruit. Yeah, absolutely smells amazing. Let's go ahead and get it on the palate. It's a blast of fruit, pretty malty. The banana note that I got on the nose is not there on the palate. There's low amount of spice and pretty high on the sweetness. There is a barrel tanginess to it without it being over oaked or over tannin, but there is a slight amount of tang that I wasn't really ready for. And I think that tang might be starting to increase the amount of spice that's coming out of there. That's interesting. Let me go ahead and jot some of these notes down so I don't forget. All right, glass number 2. And this has a lot of fruit like glass number 1 did, but I'm picking up on a lot of dark fruits. Raisins, dates, figs, and plums. Smells absolutely amazing. Little oaky, little malty, but overall, a lot of fruit. All right, let's get this thing on the palate. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That has a lot of red fruits. Very malty, very chocolatey. There's that that tanginess, again, is also coming out of glass number 2 that I got from glass number 1. It's a barrel tannin that comes across as tangy, but not bitter. That's very strange. It's good, but it's very strange. All right, glass number 3. Smells a little bit astringent. I don't know if that's a good note. All right, now that I rolled in the glass, a little bit more fruity, but there is an astringency coming through here, almost a little bit of acetone. But back behind there, there's still a little bit of a fruity note, but not big on that nose at all. All right, let's go ahead and get it on the palate. All right, that's a little bit more pleasant on the palate. A little grainy, a little fruity, lots of oak, and there it is. On that back end, I do get a little bit of that acetone note as well. Yeah, not a big fan of that one. And it just comes across as too astringent for me on that. So glass number 4. Oh yeah, that is really, really heavily fruit. Smells like bubble gum, cotton candy, dark fruits. Very sweet, almost no spice at all. Now on the nose, this one definitely is taking it. I love the nose on this. Let's get it on the palate. All right, this is almost like glass number 2. Good amounts of red fruit, good sweetness, cotton candy, strawberry bubblegum. Does not seem to be too high proof at all. I tell you what, smells fantastic on the nose. All right, glass number 5. Ooh, it's another contender. Again, smells very fruity, apple, pear, light, crisp. Yeah, this one is in contention with having the best nose like this one. I think I have an idea of which one this one is. All right, let's go ahead and get it on the palate. Light, crisp, delicate, all sorts of fruit, apple, pear, peaches, nectarine, you name it. This is a glass full of fruit. Absolutely amazing. I absolutely love that one. Definitely a contender for my first place right now. All right, glass 6. Trying to search for something. Can't remember which glass it was. Glass number 3. Didn't come across as anything right up front. I'm not getting a whole lot on the nose. All right, now that it's rolled around a little bit, I'm getting that acetone note, a little oaky, a little bitterness, a little sour coming out. And I think that acetone is kind of getting in the way of some of the other notes. Oh, just on that last nose, as I was pulling this away from my nose, get a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of pepper, maybe some cooking spice. But yeah, another one that's kind of acetone-y. All right, let's get it on the palate. All right, yeah, no acetone on the taste. Fruity, spicy, a little peppery. Ooh, really drying, a little bit bitter on the side of the tongue. That finish is escalating. Little tobacco, some wood spice. Yeah, it's not bad. I think the palate on this is better than the nose. That acetone note really does kind of kill a lot of things, but once you get it onto the palate, I think this develops into something a lot better than what it noses. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is go back the other direction. I need to rinse a little bit more in between each one of these tastes. I'm gonna A/B compare them, kind of see how they play off of one another. And then when I come back, I should have an order of which one I like the most. See you in a little bit. All right, this got very interesting. I have a clear-cut winner and a clear-cut loser, and then everything else is a flip of a coin. So let me just go ahead and get my order away before I reveal to myself what it is that I was drinking. I don't know if you can see or not, but one of them actually made me drool. So in fifth place, no doubt about it, glass number 3 is clearly in sixth. I tasted it a couple more times and it just came across as very grainy and very acetone. That acetone note never went away. So that was in sixth place. My fifth place glass was glass number 6. It came across as a little bit too spicy. The more I actually compared it to the others, it had a pretty good apple cinnamon spice to it, but I don't think that the spice was balanced enough with the sweet. So if you've been here for a while, you know that I'm not a big fan of a lot of spice unless it's balanced out with the sweet, and this just came across as a little bit too spicy for me. But the cinnamon apple spice that was there was pretty good. So that was in fifth place. In fourth place, I ended up putting glass number 1, and that tanginess never went away. So there was a tang and a spice. It was very fruit forward, but it just came across as too tangy. And then in third place, I ended up with glass number 4, third, and glass number 2 in second. These two are the two that were very, very close together. I have an idea of what they are, but I don't know which one is which. And then in first place, no doubt about it, glass number 5. By far, this was my favorite one. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and reveal what they are. So in sixth place, I ended up with glass number 3, and this was, oh no, Hedonism. Hedonism is the one that uses a lot of the Cameron Bridge, which was like my favorite bottle. And it just so happens, obviously, that this one, based on the prices that I gave you, this was the most expensive one. That is really disappointing. That acetone note and that graininess that's coming out of here did not sit right within this flight. So glass number 6, Hedonism. In fifth place, on the far right, a good apple cinnamon note, but too much spice and not enough sweet. And this ended up being the Spice Tree. So Spice Tree, apple cinnamon spice. Definitely more spice than sweet. And I think that kind of plays out the way my palate is. I like a balance of sweet and spice. This is just too spicy. And it's in the name, Spice Tree. So that's in fifth place. In fourth place, there is a tanginess to this that I couldn't get over. It was still good with all of the fresh fruit notes that were coming out of here, but that tang just dropped it down to fourth place, and that is going to be, oh, it's a new one, Nectarosity. So the Nectarosity is good, just too tangy for me. In third place, third and second, these two glasses. These have to be the Spaniard and the Crimson Cask. They are a blended malt, and I think a lot of them are sherry cask matured or sherry cask finished. So I think these are very, very similar. I'm just not positive which one is which. So the reason why I put this one in here in third place is it just seemed to be the same consistent note all the way through. It was good, but it didn't really have any peaks or valleys. It was just all raisins, dates, figs, and plums. And that's pretty much it. So this one is, all right, so this one is the Spaniard. So Spaniard comes in third. Second, I'm saying this like I know. Second, I'm guessing is the Crimson Cask because it's very close to the Spaniard. And this seemed to develop a little bit more in its flavors. And I think the richness of the raisins, dates, figs, and plums were a little bit more in this than glass number 3. I'm guessing it's the Crimson Cask. Yeah. All right. So glass number 2 is the Crimson Cask. And no surprise, no shocker. Glass number 5, as soon as I smelled it, as soon as I tasted it, I knew what it was. It's like you're walking through an orchard. This is nice, crisp, delicate, a bowl of fruit, no astringency, really well-rounded. It really is a good pour. It has to be the Orchard House because there's nothing left. And yep, it is the Orchard House. Tell you what, if you have not had Compass Box Orchard House, you got to try it. I think it is really one of the better blended malts that are out there. All right, so I think that is all I have for you. I poured an ounce in each one of these glasses. So let's do a blend of the blend and see how this turns out. I don't have very high hopes for it, but I'm going to check it out anyway and see what's going on with the blend of the blend. So once again, everything in the description is going to take you to the online Scotch Whiskey Awards. Go to that site. If you feel like participating in the public voting, go ahead and do that. The rules to the giveaway are in the description as well. If you feel like supporting the channel, it'd be highly appreciated. Every $5 gets you 1 entry into the giveaway. So Carlos already entered, and since he was the first person to enter for the month, he got a bonus entry. And I think going forward, every month, the first person that donates, I'm going to give him an extra entry. All right, so the blend of the blend. Boy, I tell you what, that sherry cask is really coming through. Smells very malty, smells very dark, red fruity. Not a whole lot of spice to mention at all. Actually smells really good. Chocolate, red fruit, malty, no spice, sweet. All right, let's get it on the palate. That's interesting. It is a little flat. It dies mid-palate. It comes across as soon as you taste it, right on the front of the palate. It hits you with fruit and spice, dies mid-palate, nothing but a little bit of tannin or oak on the side. And then on the finish, the flavors just drop off. Smells a lot better than it tastes. All right, that's all I have for you. Wherever you're at in your journey, I hope you're enjoying it, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, everybody.